Dorothy Day was an aspiring American journalist turned social activist on behalf of the poor and downtrodden of the United States. She embraced the Catholic religion despite the prejudice expressed by her father all of her life. Following the San Francisco earthquake, her family was among the down and out, and they moved to Chicago. So she understood and felt the prejudices that were put on people of that day and time as being less than worthy of help. Her father was a journalist as well for a sports magazine in Chicago, and after that they began to live a more comfortable lifestyle. Dorothy never forgot what it was like to be classed as less than important in a society. She received a scholarship to the University of Illinois in Urbana and refused to depend on her father or her family for money. She attended school there for 2 years and left to begin her life's work on behalf of the poor in New York City. From there, Dorothy worked for several newspapers and magazine publications in opposition of the American involvement of the war in Europe and the social order of people in the United States. She believed that having a social order was wrong. Dorothy began writing for the Catholic Workers newspaper, which was a newspaper that instilled the teachings of the Catholic religion and the morals and values of that religion to its people. In 1933, she met Peter Mollin, who was a French immigrant, who was also a fellow brother in Christ. And from there, the Catholic Workers movement was born. Day and Mollin believed in the nonviolent and equal treatment of people of all walks of life and for hospitable care of the poor. Hospitality houses were opened all over New York and in rural areas on farms, and these homes and houses fed people like a soup kitchen that you would see of today and provided shelter for poor, sick, or out-of-work lay people to stay and be cared for. Movement spread all over the United States and Canada as well as the United Kingdom, and several of these houses are still in existence today, and that movement has spread all across the country. Dorothy was baptized into the Catholic religion in 1926 following the birth of her daughter, and she just really believed that everything that they taught encompassed everything that she believed in. She was not afraid to go to jail or picket on behalf of the people of New York and all over the country. She was in prison several times for her beliefs in these movements and held steadfast to the nonviolent treatment and care of these people by lifting them up. She lived long enough to see her achievements rewarded by receiving communion from Pope John Paul V in 1967 at the International Congress of the Laity. On her 75th birthday, the Jesuit magazine, The America, devoted an entire edition to her, thanking her for being the person that best exemplified what the Catholic American stood for. Notre Dame University presented her with the Laetare Medal, thanking her for comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable. She died just as she lived, among the poor and down and out in Mary House in 1980.